Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Don't forget, join the Patreon through daixrp.com, and you can also join through YouTube if you'd rather. Click the join button below any of these videos. Check it out from Bank XRP. There's the Ledger people advertising on the Las Vegas sphere. Is that what they call it? Just a reminder, you can have a Caleb and Brown account and still use your Ledger. You can use it for trading and to have a personal relationship with someone, or you could do a combination thereof. You could keep your stuff on your Ledger, keep some of it on Caleb and Brown through the institutional custody. It doesn't matter. Go to xrpwealth589.com if you want to open a Caleb and Brown account. That takes you right to my affiliate link, and you can click sign up today right there. Okay, folks, it's almost here. It's probably the last time you'll see this video.
This is it.
Hello, Las Vegas! You guys having fun?
This is Bree Teresi, model and crypto enthusiast, with the final promo for XRP Las Vegas 2025. We've waited, we've planned, we've believed, and now it's here. XRP Las Vegas 2025 kicks off this Friday and Saturday. 2 unforgettable days packed with speakers, strategy, and the future of finance. The community is real and the momentum is unstoppable. This isn't just a conference, this is a movement.
There's still time to get tickets. Log on to xrplasvegas.com for ticket information and conference agenda.
XRP Las Vegas 2025, we made it. Now let's make history. Lock in.
I'm locked in, and the market is doing absolutely nothing, so we're going to move on. Look at Brad Garlinghouse. The skull of Satoshi was originally built to call attention to blockchain energy usage. Today, it's a symbol and a reminder of Bitcoin's incredible staying power to many around the world, including me. As crypto and blockchain technologies become widely used, respected, and understood, it's past time that we set aside our differences and work together to move the industry forward. I hope this gesture continues to remind folks that we, Bitcoin, XRP, and other crypto communities have more in common than we think. I agree with Brad Garlinghouse. The only problem is every time we try to practice this and the XRP price starts going up, the Bitcoin maxis come out of the woodwork and we're forced to call them out. So I'll try to practice this, but I know these people too well. Okay, here is former Ripple guy, the BlackRock head of digital assets, Robbie Mitchnick.
Firstly, I don't think one needs to look at the competition as zero sum, right? They are in many ways sort of different angles on a similar theme, a similar investment thesis and worldview, right? They both are global, scarce, decentralized, fixed supply assets, right? They're both detached from those, traditional country and systemic risks, and that's why investors are drawn to them. And gold today is much less volatile and has a much longer history. But Bitcoin is digitally native in an increasingly digital world, is efficient to store, can be transferred anywhere in the world in near real time at near zero cost. So it has some significant advantages too. I think there's no question Bitcoin has much higher upside than gold and lower downside, right? And so there's different flavors of it that investors have, and many investors are going to own both. We see lots of investors adding to both. We see some switching from, maybe they were 100-0 gold Bitcoin and they went to 80-20 or they went to 50-50. We see a lot of that, but certainly as a category, as a sort of diversifier and hedge, Bitcoin and gold is growing.
But it seems like
All right, and then you've got him here talking about if they're saying 1% to 2% into Bitcoin, Imagine what they're going to do with XRP.
What has happened since that recommendation? Is that recommendation being followed? What types of investors are looking at it? How do we go from that recommendation to investors actually allocating 1 to 2%?
Yeah, so just I think to set the stage for what model portfolios are and how they work for some in the audience. Basically, the idea is to support financial advisors in their journey to be able to build better portfolios, more optimized portfolios for their end clients. And so model portfolios have become a very powerful tool to help financial advisors do that. At BlackRock, we have a very significant asset base in the model portfolios that we build and then equip our wealth advisor clients with. And one of those portfolios, as you note, in February of this year, so just about 3 months ago now, added Bitcoin as an allocation in the 1 to 2% range. And this was a model portfolio that includes alternatives in it. And so that was, as you note, I think a significant development. That was not a sudden reaction to any one thing. That was a result of multiple years of analysis and research by that team who runs those portfolios. So,
all righty. Now here's Bo Hines. He's the, I always forget his title, but he's with the government.
I mean, Bitcoin is literally the golden standard, and that's why we say Bitcoin is digital gold. We make no bones about that, and I've said repeatedly, as the United States, we want as much of it as we can possibly get. That's why we created the SBR in the way that we've done. We recognized it for being unique. Obviously, it's a commodity, not a security. Has intrinsic stored value. As David likes to say, it has the immaculate conception, right? This is an asset that we should be harnessing on behalf of the American people, and we're working diligently as a working group to figure out those budget-neutral ways in which we can accumulate more. And I always tell journalists that ask me all the time, how much do you want? Again, I'll say repeatedly here today, that's a very silly question. We want as much as we can possibly get, and I'll say it ad nauseum the rest of the time that I'm here. But, I think that we showed that we recognized that for being unique in the way that we set up the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, we have the Digital Assets National Stockpile, which is different. And in this SBR, we said two things. One, we want to accumulate more, and two, we're not going to sell any Bitcoin that we possibly have in U.S. government, period.
All right, they're wanting to pay off that debt. And then we've got crazy Michael Saylor.
But it resulted in a $2.2 trillion gain for everybody else. Okay, so it's not like I got the money, right? What is the ratio of $2 trillion? Someone else has $2 trillion and we made 20 billion and we have this small little piece. So it's like when Wall Street is 5% of Bitcoin, that means 95% of the 2.5 trillion is not Wall Street. When Wall Street is 10% of Bitcoin, Bitcoin will be at $1 million a coin, and that means there'll be nearly $20 trillion of not Wall Street money that will be sitting everywhere else in the rest of the world, in the rest of whatever, right? The energy, it's impossible for anybody to take over Bitcoin in a hostile way. Because the more aggressively you buy Bitcoin, the more you empower everybody else that disagrees with you. You see, the harder I go, the more powerful everybody who took a different point of view becomes.
Okay, I was sitting here looking at a text. Here's Byron Donalds.
I'm familiar with the Lummis baggage bill. We drafted a bill that codifies the president's EO. The only reason I haven't co-sponsored the Lummis baggage bill is, we get busy, man. There's bills all over DC. So it's not I don't like Nick Begich and I don't like his bill. I actually like Nick Begich. I endorsed him, helped to get to Congress. I think he's great. It's just, we get busy and sometimes you just didn't go to him and say, hey, put me on this. But definitely that bill comes to committee, I'm voting for it. Now to why it's important. Bitcoin has proven to be a holder of value. It's proven it to me, it's proven it really to the entire world. I remember back in 2015 when I was in financial services, I think Bitcoin was trading at 1,100 a coin, 1,200 a coin maybe at the time. And I had clients come to me and they're like, should we buy Bitcoin? And I would sit there and be like, I don't know, the first thing about that stuff, do what you want. If you got a spare $2,000, have fun. I don't care. But what it has proven over the last decade is that you believe in it. And at the end of the day, anything on this planet that has value because you have a broad swath of people who have a fundamental agreement that this is a holder, whether it was precious metals, gold, silver before, or Bitcoin today. Secondly, of course, there's only going to be, 21 million ever in creation? So that in and of itself demonstrates a baseline that can't be eroded by central banks, by debasing currencies, etc. I think the last reason why this is critical for the United States is, let's just be blunt with each other. We accuse other nations of messing with their currencies, but we have allowed ours to be diminished in purchasing power because the federal government spends far too much money. And we are borrowing the future earnings of the American people to pay for, we're borrowing future earnings to pay for current living expenses. That's what the federal government is doing. So if you know this, and we have a debt problem, which we do, the prudent thing to do is try to amass assets that you can hold and have an appreciating value to help offset some of your long-term liabilities. That's why a strategic Bitcoin reserve, in my view, is critical to the United States.
Okie dokie. Now here's one of the Winklevi.
It is, and I think we think that, Bitcoin is obviously, orange is the new gold. So Bitcoin is gold 2.0. And that's been true since day one. And so at $100,000 Bitcoin, that's exciting. But if you take 21 million into the above ground market price of gold, really it should be $1 million a coin easily, and then some. So we often talk about baseball games as being sort of the metric for how early things are. And we're literally in the first inning. And let me tell you, this game's going to overtime. So.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Okay, we're going to go to DAIXRP.com. I've got more on XRP that I want to talk about, and then some more of the Bitcoin conference. But we'll go to DAIXRP.com to join the Patreon, or click the join button right below any of my YouTube videos to join through YouTube if you'd rather do that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.